Life's a little complicated at times. Yesterday was an example. Welcome to Finding God in the Times of COVID. Today is July the 12th. So, for a series of 7 weeks now, a group of us, sometimes just two, sometimes 8 people, have been going downtown to City Hall Park here in Barrie and standing, I say, in solidarity with our siblings of color to hold a Black Lives Matter sign or, no justice until there's peace. Different sorts of messages like that. Now, let me start off by saying I understand a complication of Black Lives Matter, which for different reasons puts out this implication that other people's lives don't matter or don't matter as much. Which isn't the point of Black Lives Matter. The point of Black Lives Matter is this recognition that over the course of so many years, decades, centuries, Black lives have been treated as second-class citizens, and it continues to be the struggle. So we stand there for an hour from 5 o'clock till 6 o'clock. And yesterday was not unlike other days when, as people drive by, 85% of the people maybe look and don't respond at all. 10% of the people might honk or give a fist or a high sign in agreement with the message of Black Lives Matter. And then 5% of the people disagree and express their frustration in some way. So I say it's complicated because what are we to do, in response to any response that we get? Specifically, the responses of people who tend to say something like this: "Hey, you effing idiots, don't you know all lives matter?" To which either we don't say anything, or we say, yes, all lives matter, and they will once we understand that Black lives matter, fully matter. So I said it was complicated because yesterday we had a couple of interactions which I struggled with. One in particular, and we also got the middle finger more than we usually do for being out there. That was one of the complications, which is fine. But at one point, a couple of young people drove up and they were stopped at the red light. And while they were stopped there, they started to, speak about how all lives matter. And they were far enough away that we couldn't do much except for hold up a little sign that said, "Want to talk about it for 5 minutes?" With the hope that, if people are interested in a little deeper discussion, to be able to say more about what they think or believe or feel, and to be willing to listen to how others think or believe or feel, they might take us up on the offer to talk for 5 minutes. This couple of young individuals primarily wanted to say or yell what they believed, and then, as the light turned green, they floor it and get up, not quite on two wheels, but you get the impression, squealing around the corner. I assume as a demonstration and a sign of frustration. And I couldn't help but think, what if they'd lost control of their vehicle and gone off the street into the sidewalk and struck someone? I mean, it's an ethical dilemma, isn't it? I mean, I know it's not like our fault, the two of us that were there yesterday. And yet at the same time, of course, we would have felt terrible. Because in all likelihood that wouldn't have happened were we not standing out there. So how do you speak a truth with the understanding that you you have no control over other people's responses. So the other idea that occurred to me yesterday, as we were standing there with our signs, Black Lives Matter, was, what would happen if we put out a little card table and had a few lawn chairs and had a sign that read, "Want to talk about why Black Lives Matter?" I mean, I'm not sure that people would come up and talk about it on day one of that, but if they drove by and saw people standing there or sitting there casually for a week or two or three, would you stop and talk about why? You know, why it is that you fundamentally, in response to Black Lives Matter, feel like, yes, sister, or yes, brother? Or why, when you see Black Lives Matter, the place that your heart goes is, no, all lives matter. Would you come to the card table? Or bring a lawn chair and talk for the furthering of our community, for the bringing of the kingdom of God to earth? Life's complicated. I mean, and this is from the perspective of me, a white guy, who gets to choose to go down and stand with a sign. Not someone who, each and every day wonders if I'll be safe walking out into my community, if I'll be judged, or as a friend said in a discussion group last night, if I'll be, pulled over for no reason other than the color of my skin, as a coworker of hers has experienced repeatedly in Vermont. So I'm grateful for sit-downs that some clergy friends and I have had with Chief Bombardier here in Barrie, who wants to work on betterment of community, who wants to further Black Lives Matter in the true meaning of what we're working toward. And we want a community that's more healthy, more transparent. And ultimately, all lives will matter when Black ones do. Blessings on your day.